Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Edgerunners HQ and Night City Sofa, our talk show about the TTRPG Cyberpunk RED by our Talsorian Games. You can find Edgerunners HQ on Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Patreon. I am Jess, here with my buddy Games, and if you're new to the channel or the show, please feel free to post comments or ask questions. We will do our best to answer things. Now, while Night City Sofa is often lighthearted, Cyberpunk RED does take place in dark future, so there are some mature, possibly disturbing or uncomfortable aspects in the world that may appear during the shows we discuss. We will give warnings ahead of time where we can. Tonight, we are going to start our in-depth look into the missions of Cyberpunk RED's complete street-level campaign, Tales of the Red, Hope Reborn. If you want an overview that includes playing the campaign, the introductory story of Hope, which is really great and a wonderful read, you should go and check it out. The new rules that are at the end of the book, all that video with all that content is already on YouTube in the Night City Sofa playlist, so you can go and check that out. It is also player friendly, so even if you don't want spoilers, that one is completely safe to watch. From here on out, the video is for ideally game masters only, or players who've already gone through the missions. Spoilers are incoming. If you're playing this in single player mode, that's fine, because generally you know where the story is headed anyway. But if you are planning on playing it, or you may play it, lurk with the sound off. Yeah. But thank you for watching, because it helps the algorithm. So in this video, we're going to look at the first two missions, the Angel Share and Real Estate Rumble. I will say, I think every single one of the missions in this entire campaign has an element, as at least one element, that I really enjoy and would love to see in more games and campaigns and missions. Real Estate Rumble is written by Paris Aerosmith and Tracy Hearn. It is estimated to take 6 to 8 hours of playtime. So unless you're one of those people that run like 12-hour sessions, this is probably going to take you 2 to 3 to get through. For sure, actually. Yeah. Reading this, I was like, there's no way I'm telling this in less than like 3 or 4. Because the way I tell stories. Now, what's nice about this is the B chart shows us most of this mission is very linear. Until you get to the cliffhanger, the garage. Yeah. Again, after the B chart, we get list of rumors your players can uncover, and again, you can swap these rumors out with ones that you think are more viable. As we talked about, your downtime at the end of Angel Share may have taken a couple of weeks. Your players may have done a personal story that you created for them, or they may have gone on a different gig. Games and I have talked about Tales of the Red Street Stories. You may have filtered one of those in between these two missions, in which case make a rumor about something that they did. You know what I mean? You're not limited to these rumors. They're just suggestions. Yeah. And actually, I really like the rumors in this one. The first one had a lot of rumors that were kind of the same thing, but from different angles. This one, each rumor kind of feels like its own thing, and it kind of feels more necessary, and I like the rumors in this one a little bit better. And again, media, if you have Media Imported, they get rumors for free at the start of the week. You don't have to give them all of the rumors, by the way. No, you can pick and choose. Yeah. Just as a reminder. Leave some rumors to be discovered down the line. Now for this mission, for Real Estate Rumble, essentially Marianne is setting a meeting between the crew and former Edgerunner turned real estate agent Jack Skorkowski to find a new location to rebuild the Forlorn Hope. If you don't know Seth Skorkowski, who does a bunch of RPG-related news, that is who this is based off of. Yep. Also, if the crew needs a vehicle, Marianne will offer the Hope's van, and you can find stats for that on page 61. Now, Jack isn't going to have an option right away. He needs time to find the right space. But while he's looking for options, he has a job for the crew, if they're willing, regarding a couple of his properties, and of course he will pay them for their time. Was there anything you want to add before we get into the details of this? No, I don't believe so, no. Okay. I think that during the meeting with Jack and Marianne,
there isn't a lot of room here. Like, you know how I always like to like let the scene play out a little longer and stuff like that. I feel like this is very much an opening cutscene kind of thing. That like, hey, if you want this mission, wink, wink, you're going to take this mission. Otherwise, I'm throwing out the rest of the story. So like, like I don't have a lot to say here because I don't feel like there's a lot of space here. And you can play it however you want, but that's just how I read it personally.
Fair enough. That's, yeah, no, I agree. The mission where most of this takes place is of course the job that they're going to do for Jack. Jack lets them know that there are strange accidents occurring at some of his sites. He doesn't know what's happening. Now, unknown to him and the players, his real estate agency is the latest victim of the Cirque de Bozo. Bozo Circus has been playing pranks on Jack by targeting several of his properties. The first had reports of several workplace accidents, and the recurring incidents have caused the construction crew to be wary of working there. When the players arrive, they'll find the location stacked with traps. The second spot is a target of a small group of scabbers, the Karl and Cobras, who are taking advantage of an explosion in the place. And clues here lead the editors to a young Network 54 media who may be willing to make a deal to give them extra information. And once the crew finishes investigating both locations, Jack asks them to meet him at the perfect spot for the forlorn hope to rebuild. He has found it. But of course, Cirque de Bozo plans on striking there too. So this one is going to involve a lot of bozos, a lot of clowns.
And I love the bozos have always been a great prank gang to throw in because they're serious enough of a threat and like their pranks are very deadly a lot of the time, but like they're also fun enough and like warriorsy enough that like it gives that like cyberpunk feel, and so I love them as a villain here. Also, investigating the two scenes, we move through that fairly quickly. You get the information basically no matter what happens, but I think that it would be fun to like use the building a mystery style, like, you know, investigation to like kind of play in those settings a little bit longer.
Sure.
This is part of why I think it would take me 4 sessions, is because the first half of the first session would just be this gathering information. Because like I want them to feel more necessary that they went and did it, you know.
Sure.
So
more mystery solving before going through the mystery.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, in the hook, of course, there's a section for the Game Master to read. There's also info boxes with DVs, so you can find out more about Jack. Also, I would say when they're at this meeting, give them time to know the Edgerunner, as they're going to be doing quite a bit of work for him at the moment. So, you know, let them develop that rapport. Make sure he speaks highly of Mary Ann. And then when he's done saying, you know, it's going to take a while, but I have a job, and your crew accepts. Definitely is going to accept.
Yeah.
You know, and even when Mary Ann sends them, maybe be like, you know, Jack's a good friend. If he's got, you know...
Try to endear them to Jack
as
much as you can. Yeah.
He's a good guy. So he's going to give you details on what his workers have now called the Haunted House. The report incidents, the accidents that have been happening this morning. It just so happened that when the crew arrived, the front door was covered with blood. So now Jack's construction crew refuses to work on the site. And while Jack could hire new employees, he likes these ones and doesn't want to take away their income. And that is rather stand up for someone in Night City. And if your players don't 100%. Understand that, like, maybe remind them that this is not common in Night City when you can just replace people, like, at the drop of a hat.
Oh yeah, everyone's a cog in a machine and replaceable. He's like, no, I want to keep working with these people.
They have to make a living. It's important to me.
Which makes him a good guy.
Yeah, this should endear them. This should endear him instantly. Now, as kind of a side thing, when the crew leaves their thing with Jack, they do get a call from Grace Steele. Her bandmates did not make it, so she's looking for new members. So if the crew happens to run into anybody, to give them Grace's contact info. And this kind of, they could end up in a spot where they meet a musician, and that's the only reason this is relevant. But this does go through multiple missions in the book.
Yeah.
So this is where that tips off.
It gives a good through line, and this is kind of the anchor to that. I don't know that it has to take place here per se, but around here is good, so why not?
It should start in this mission for sure.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it, because I was going to say, why don't you do this before you go see Jack or before you talk to Marianne?
Or while investigating. Or...
That's probably because you don't want to ask Marianne or Jack. Like, just don't deal with this here. If we find another spot in here that we think would be good, we'll let you know.
Right.
To have that conversation. Now, I like the haunted house because this feels, as close as I have read, like a dungeon crawl, but in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it feels very closed. A lot of Cyberpunk, you deal with a wide open city because you're in a city. This feels more closed off, more dungeony.
Yeah.
Than a lot of things do. And it's always nice to get that.
Yes. There are narrow hallways, there are traps. Check for traps is very legit in this building. Another building is non-important. There's Jack's signs, it's nondescript. They will get to meet the, I think it's the, oh my god, what is it called? Crew supervisor, there we go. His name is Time. So they'll get to talk to him. He will not go inside the building. He will stay on radio while the crew goes in. He does let them know that his key cards don't open it because the lock has been scrambled. And the back door is welded shut. So you cannot, like, it's not going to be easy to get through the doors. You cannot get through the back door at all. Now, if they check the blood that's there, it is real. It is human.
Yeah.
It's not paint. It's
type O, I believe.
O negative.
Yeah.
Yep. Now they can try to bust through there's an electronic, you can make an elec check. You can try to brute force the front door that's not welded shut. It has 50 HP, so you will have to, again, environmental obstacle, love it.
Right.
You will have to get through it. You can try to go through the windows, but those are secured with security bars that have 50 HP.
Yeah.
Either way, it's going to be a chore to get into this building.
Well, and with 50 HP, even something like a door cracker, which does damage to inanimate objects like doors to intentionally break them down, I believe the maximum damage is still less than 50.
I think it's 25.
So it would take, I think it would take more than one door cracker to get through this door on a good day.
But you could.
Yeah.
But you could. So however the crew wants to try to get into this building, good luck on them.
Yeah.
Once they're inside, and it's going to be either the front door, like the windows in the out front, right? Once they're in, for the most part, it's time for the next scene, and which is beautifully titled "The Death Maze."
Right, which is a great great title for the section.
Mm-hmm. Now, unless they have means of seeing in the dark, any checks that require visibility are made at a -1 penalty, because there is no power to this building. Or no, there is power. There's no. They haven't put up the lights yet. There are floodlights.
Functioning lights, yeah.
Yes, there are floodlights around, but that's all you get. And I think the security blinds are down, so no light is coming in through the windows.
Yeah, it's completely covered.
Now, on the site, there is an architecture that has been installed by SPOOPH, aka Spoof, who is the leader of this Cirque du Bozo. The details are found on page 61, but the architecture is there to run the traps. Neither Jack nor Time are aware that this has been placed.
Yeah.
So they cannot...
This is not something you're pre-informed about.
Your players cannot know about this. There was no chance of them asking a right question. This is a surprise to everybody.
Yeah.
Now the server is in the main office, and it's marked on the map. Each camera and speaker in the building is an access point. The architecture self-contained. The imp has instructions to watch the cameras, and when someone enters a location, it plays a specific recorded phrase through the appropriate speaker, and it's super creepy. It's wonderful, but super creepy. These phrases that it speaks trigger the various traps via a microphone implanted in each of them. So the imp sees you on camera, plays the thing through the speaker, which is picked up by the mic, which sets off the trap. Now, if you shut down the cameras or the speakers, it disables all the traps, but you have to shut them down, all of them.
Yeah.
Noticing the camera requires a DV-17 perception check, which, remember, is at a -1 unless you can see in the dark. Noticing the speakers is DV-21. It's not going to be easy. Now, if you have a Netrunner, their scanner ability
I was going to say,
does search for access points. If you don't
which
have a
is a lot
Netrunner,
better.
or your Netrunner forgot to look for access points, and chances are they may not think to look for one, because this is just a construction site, and as far as time's concerned, there's no cameras. These were added after.
Yeah.
So
Well,
after the
and-
first one goes off, they might not think to look for an access point.
I would think, as the storyteller, I would try to remind them that that's something they can do, assuming they're a new player and stuff like that, when they're trying to get past the security lock on the door or something like that. Like, maybe check for access points. And obviously they won't be able to access the network from the door, but maybe that will help them think to start doing that. I wouldn't necessarily remind them at this point.
I would let at least one trap go off before I even reminded them about access points. Now, the net architecture, including camera speakers and all the traps, have their own batteries. If the crew hits one and goes, we'll just shut off power to the building, which would kill the floodlights, which is their only source of light. In the building, they would have to rely on their flashlights or other optics. It's not going to help anything if they shut down the power. But they could ask time to cut the building's power. It's just not going to do anything to help with this.
EMPs are helpful, though.
It's true. Now, as you go through the Death Mage, each location has a description for the GM, information about the traps. It has all the voice recordings that are going to play. You don't have to create that. And any information that time can provide if or when the players ask. Now, the demolition skill helps in the Death Maze. It's not essential. Players can use other skills to overcome obstacles or use complementary skill checks. Their luck pool to succeed in demolitions. Other than various bombs, there's an electrified floor trap. And my favorite thing ever, my first Graph 3. And if you've seen the Graph 3, which is the giant giraffe construction equipment,
Looking
this
crane
is
thing.
like a 2-foot tall little baby giraffe, and it holds it's got a little red balloon tied to it. It looks precious.
Yeah.
The balloon is filled with biotoxin.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And as soon as the door opens, the giraffe walks towards you, which I think pops the balloon and fills the room, and it's really, really bad, but it looks super, super cute.
Yeah.
Now, the crew, there is a way to go around this. You can completely bypass the graph. I think with the access
balloon?
node, you can control it so it doesn't move.
Yeah. The balloon has "Have you seen my daddy" written on it.
Yes, that's right. The pictures in this book, by the way, guys, are great.
Yeah,
I love them
for
so
sure.
much. But yes, I think my first Graph 3 was like one of my favorite things. Now, the main office does hold the final trap, and of course the main office is where the net architecture is, right? So, just a reminder, to access you can access a node, but you have to be able to see it. You cannot access it through walls.
Nope.
So
You
keep
have
that
to
in
be
mind.
within 6 feet and be able to see it,
Yep.
or 2 meters and be able to see it.
6 meters.
Is it? I thought it was 6 feet, 2 meters.
No, feet meters are. Or no, meters are, it's the same. 3 squares. You have to be within 3 squares of the thing.
Yeah. That.
Okay, now the main office is where the big final trap is. Painted on every surface in this room, by the way, with teal paint, are the repeating words, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy." Because, of course, Jack is the one who's the real estate agent, right? So, now the room has a box with a crank on the side that started turning the moment your players enter the room.
Yep.
The speaker voice reads more poetry about the clock singing and not being long before the Big Bang. And this is where a clock mechanic is used. The crew has 10 rounds before the bomb detonates. That's 30 seconds.
Yep. That's all.
The bomb is not the music box. Well, the music box is creepy, and it does play louder the closer the edge runners get to it. The bomb is located in the wall near the largest support beams. The mission offers a few ways the crew can find this information, but once they have it and find the bomb, there's a few things they can do, right? They can try to defuse it. They can try to move it to a nearby vacant lot. They can just escape and leave the building to ruin. That sucks for
Right.
Jack, because it's his building. And he's put a lot of money into
Resolve
this.
the problem, not in the best way.
If they run, Jack loses the building. If they move the bomb, they need to be careful because the amount of rounds required depends on the person's move stat. So, getting back through the maze, if you're real slow, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
Defusing it requires a DV-17 demolitions check. Again, crew members can use complementary skill checks and their luck pool if you don't have someone with that skill check.
Yeah.
If the bomb explodes while they're working on it, they take 8d6 damage. The building suffers major structural damage. Crew probably, hopefully survives, but they'll also spend time digging themselves out of rubble.
Yeah.
Now, if they...
Collapsed buildings suck.
Yeah.
This isn't an instant death, though, unlike the Forlorn Hope.
True.
So that's nice.
Exactly. Now, if the crew does successfully defuse the bomb and want to keep it, they can do so. There is a note on the side with information detailing damage, the worth, and how to handle it safely. So keeping this bomb is totally viable. Yes?
I was gonna say this. I loved this death maze and all this going on here.
Yes.
I do feel like this is really the place where your netrunners and your techs are really going to shine.
100%.
And they don't often get to, so let them. Like, as much as some of the other roles, I know that unlike solos, which is kind of the bread and butter, I think that techs are more of a support role largely. And this is a nice, like, diffusing traps is a nice way.
Yeah, checks who can make
They're a
everything and
support
upgrade
role.
everything. You're right, they never get a chance to shine.
With
Absolutely
their field
ever.
ability.
Yeah, field expertise, I don't know what you're talking about. Sits here and pouts in media.
But I feel also, my other complaint for this first section is, I feel like they're almost required for this. Like, yes, you can do it without them, but this is so much harder.
You definitely need somebody with a good technique skill and a high demolitions.
Yeah. Otherwise, this is just kind of a...
It is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Yep. And I wouldn't say that a tech is necessarily going to help you. A tech is going to be huge if you have one, especially if they have field expertise, because they get to add their field expertise to their demolition skill check, because that is
to, like,
a
fucking everything.
technique skill check that they get to use. I'm pretty sure. But if you don't, just having someone with demolition, you can have a solo that knows demolitions.
Yeah.
That's going to help.
It's a beautiful thing about Cyberpunk is it's not, they don't lock skills for the most part to a specific role.
But you're right, attacker or netrunner, this is kind of like their mission. It's a good mission for them.
Yeah.
Now, once the traps are clear and the bomb defused or detonated, depending on what happened, the crew can report to time who's confused about who could have done this. If your team needs to make a deduction check, they can. If they can't figure out that this is probably a bozo-like prank, they will learn it's a bozo-like prank. And then there's an info box where they can learn more information about the bozos if they don't know what those are.
Maybe somebody gives them the guide to gangs of Night City.
There you go. By Trey Santiago. No, time will tell the crew that Jack wants to know right away, so if the crew doesn't think to call Jack and let him know instantly, time will push them to call Jack and let him know.
Oh, by the way.
Jack's response will vary depending on if the bomb went off or not. If the building got destroyed, the crew gets 500, which was the original price.
Yep.
However, if they saved the building, Jack gives them a bonus and pays each member 1,000. So they double their pay if they didn't let the building get damaged.
Yeah, and I think this is a good thing for them to learn. But the problem is the only way they learn this is if they do it the wrong way. Like, I don't...
Yeah, I guess. If the crew mentions that it's possibly Bozos, Jack will groan. He'll say he'll look into it. But with the death maze over, the crew does have a little bit of downtime available to them. They are waiting for Jack to find leads on the Hope. They have time to kill. Give them at least a day to heal if they need to heal. More if they need more. Repair anything, shop, complete outstanding tasks. Do some mystery solving.
Yeah.
Right? If they want. Next is the cliffhanger of the garage, and this is where, Jack has another property. This one is a garage he's renting out in South Night City, and the camera just went dark. And I like this one because this is a specific security camera that is not linked to an architecture. It is linked to like an agent, and that's all it does. It doesn't have any other protections. It is just camera footage. And it went dark, and he wants to know what's going on.
And something I love about this one is that you're getting paid for your troubles. Like, literally, he's like, you don't have to do anything. Go find out what the problem is, and you'll get paid for the time.
Yeah, it's only 100, but you're just supposed to go there and look. 500,
yeah, which is a great way to get characters to do something.
If there's trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
Also good to note that 500 is not base pay. If it is just go look at the thing, it can be 100. That is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. The garage, there was an explosion. There are scabbers that are, looting the area, but they didn't cause it. And at this point, the crew can talk to the scavs. They're able to succeed this. There's also a media that they can talk to get some information. So there's multiple ways to find out what happened at this setting.
Yeah.
I also just realized after the death maze situation, when the crew has downtime, that might be a really good time for Gray Steel to call.
Yeah, that actually would be. Because it lets them have another thing to focus on while getting ready for the next thing. Yeah.
Yes. After they kind of do their investigation at the scene, Jack will call the crew. Or if the crew calls Jack, he sends the security guard down. If they tell him some of the things that they found, specifically like the name of a coffee shop that they can uncover as Kasim's, or Jack will identify it as that's the place and maybe head down there and see, what's going on. And they may just do that on their own.
Yeah. Entirely possible.
You can skip the next couple things. That's fine if you don't do any investigations. This is all kind of optional. But they could get information here. They did, you'll find that there was a media van that has a Kasim's bumper sticker. That's what leads them there. And when they get there, that's where they can kind of investigate with this media about what they saw and what actually happened.
Yeah, and they have this thing if you choose to fight the Cobras, and it's you have lots of options of things you could do during this time.
Yes. Destiny is trying to get information, I think, from Jack. She will, if you meet her at the coffee place, she will offer access to her footage in exchange on information. So you'll need to succeed some skill checks there. But she's trying to get a story.
But it's all of the skill checks for that are DV9. They're designed for you to be able to pass them.
13 and 15.
13 and 15?
Yeah.
What was I looking at? Oh, the lockpick, which is in the next section.
Okay. Also, if your Netrunner wants another time to shine, there were All About Agents came out around this time, so there's the Breacher. You can try to hack her agent to get the information or get the security footage yourself. The footage isn't remarkable. It shows the explosion. And then, maybe this is it, the DV139 Perception photo film notices painted on the garage door is a rhyming couplet. We've haunted your house, we've blown open a hole, driving you mad is our ultimate goal. And that should link that the explosion was by the bozos.
We've now tied these two things together.
Yeah. Destiny is, like, her thing is she wants to write a story, and she wants to write a story about what's going on. And so she'll get real excited if she finds out this is about the bozos. Now, as a side mission, here at the coffee shop, there is a musician named Chevalier who's performing. If the crew thinks about Grace's offer,
who needs band members?
And they approach him. He does give his deets, and we'll let them record him playing for free. Otherwise, they need to drop 20 ebb in his case to record his playing. So, if you don't mention, hey, someone's looking for musicians, this person at the Forlorn Hope, if they're real sketchy about it, he only lets you record him if you pay.
Yep. Which is awesome.
Now, with all the evidence that you've gathered about bozos that are constantly the ones harassing Jack, you should call Jack. If not, Jack, this is where Jack will call the crew. Essentially, he has a place for the Hope. So he says, come meet me here, I'll pay you for your job, I'll give you a tour, and then we can talk strategy to deal with these bozos. So you're going to head, it's in an area called Woodland Park, this is your neighborhood. It's a 2-story building, across from a fenced-in construction yard, and this is important. Jack is waiting in front of the building, he waves to the crew as they approach. Jack does note there's the construction space. There has a lone security guard that's watching over construction materials and a long neck Graph 3 that is sitting in the back of a flatbed truck. Here is where you're going to ask the players for a perception check. Now, it's DV24. But if they succeed, they notice how abnormally large the guard's feet are.
I love that. I've been wanting to jump in with that, but I absolutely love, like, this is a example of a hard check that gives you a small detail, but it's a very important, very useful small detail. But, like, just the, like, oh, you got a 24? You notice the security guard has abnormally large feet.
Yeah. And if your players are clever,
yeah, they'll know what that means.
They might piece it together and be like, I want to go investigate this instead. Totally legit. The book handles that.
Yep.
If they miss it, because 24 is real high, Jack will lead you into the basement entrance of this new place, which is off an alley. He has reached out to Danger Gal to provide security investigation into the bozos.
Yep.
Because of what they're doing. And as they enter, sitting on the table in the center is a vase holding a mockery flower bouquet. And again, the image for this in the book is so, so, so beautiful.
It looks so cool.
But it's a faux flower bouquet, and each stem is composed of twisted rebar, and each flower is a grenade.
Uh-huh.
So it's a bouquet of grenades.
But it's like colorful and like plate glassy.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
So nice. Yeah.
But the best part, of course, is a trigger wire leads from the now open door to the vase. So when you open the door, it triggered the vase of grenade flowers. So you get to give the players another clock. This one is set to 3. Now Jack states if this goes off, it could bring down the whole building, which would really disappoint Marianne because this is like the perfect space for it.
Yeah.
But the group can choose to evacuate. They can try to grab this and run it out. They can try to defuse it. Now, disarming the bomb requires a DV24 demolitions check, which is real high.
Because this isn't one bomb. This is a bouquet of bombs.
But the best part, and this is what I love the most, right? If you fail, the clock goes to 0. Instantly.
Yep.
The bomb goes out. If you pick it up and try to move it, the bomb goes off. When it explodes, and this is the thing, right? As a GM, this is one of those fun moments where you get to add tension.
Yeah, build it up so thick.
Build it up so thick. So thick. It deals 0 d6 damage. It explodes
but roll dice.
In confetti and glitter. These are not damaging bombs. It is a prank bomb. And it is beautiful. Especially because your
very
players have
like roll dice and be intimidating about it. Like, I don't believe in being confrontational towards your players, but you should like really play this up.
Double 6s, you take 0 damage. But you are covered
Glitter.
in confetti and glitter. Now, this sparkly transition brings us to the climax of the mission. The bouquet is designed to rattle Jack's nerves. That's the whole point of it, right? And given that your players have dealt with bombs throughout this entire mission, they should also feel it, right?
Yeah.
Now, Spoof is the one who was disguised as the security guard across the street. His clowns were hiding nearby. He wanted Jack here as they steal the flatbed truck carrying the Graph 3. Once the bomb goes off, the crew will hear digital laughter broadcast over speakers, like this is what it says, quote, like 1 million AI clowns giggling at once. If you didn't think giggling clowns could be scarier, try 1 million AI ones.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad.
Amidst the laughter, they hear an engine turn over, and as the crew rushes to the street, they see the truck with the Graph 3 driving away. The entire truck is crawling with bozos, one of which is screaming into a megaphone.
Yeah.
Now, Jack isn't super happy about the taunt, but less that the Graph 3 is being taken, as the giant drones cost a lot of money. So the vacant lot is also Jack's. That's his stuff. It is now being stolen. He tells the crew if they can get it back in one piece, he triples what he owes them.
Yeah. Which is worth their time. I was going to say, I love the side panel in this one, because they truly have thought of everything, because they're like, players are smart. Maybe the players put together the My First Graph 3 clue and seeing the graph when they show up, and so and the big feet, maybe they decide to stay and watch it, and they even have it like, okay, well, if that happens, then, go into this.
Yep.
Which is so nice that they put that together, because nothing's worse as a storyteller than putting in like that little foreshadowing and then somebody catches it and you're like, damn, I was hoping nobody would catch that.
Just wanted it to be foreshadowing. Yeah. Or if your players go and approach the security guard, it like triggers this chase. You just kind of ignore the bouquet at first. It'll still be there waiting to go off.
Right.
So
imagine finishing this part and then like doing the bouquet thing.
Assuming they agree, it's time for a chase. The details for the flatbed truck are there. Chase rules, because we got Hot Pursuit, came out around this time. Those are included in the book. It's on page 180. The number of spaces between the crew vehicle and the bozos depends on their actions previously. They evacuated the building before the clock reached 0. They start only 2 squares behind. If the clock reached 0, essentially if the thing exploded and they were covered in glitter, they start 3 squares behind. Now for the chase, in addition to Spoof, there's the bozo driver, a backup driver, as well as a number of clowns equal to the number of edge runners in the crew. So edge runners plus essentially 3. But 3, I think, named ones. Spoof is huddled in the flatbed where he's linked to the Graph 3's net architecture. 2 drivers are in the cab, the remaining clouds are clinging on various points. So whether this is a chase or a street fight, depending on, if your crew went and confronted him, it's going to be a street fight. If they pieced it together, otherwise it's chase. The clowns will open fire. They aren't interested in taking cover. They're just going to shoot. And on the truck, whenever a clown suffers a critical injury or enters the seriously wounded wound state, they make a DV-17 athletics check. If they fail, they fall off and are either run over by passing traffic or the crew. Either way, you don't have to worry about them.
Right, one less thing to worry about.
The driver does not attack. They are focused on driving. If they enter that seriously wounded, which is half HP, the backup driver kicks them out of the cab, where they get run over, and the backup driver takes over.
Yep.
If both drivers die, you choose that the truck slows down or crashes, damaging both it and the Graph 3. So that's up to you as a GM. So depending on what the players did, I would say that's going to depend on how you handle that. If they didn't care, they just shot and they were just murder happy, I'd let it crash. If they were trying really hard to get into the driver's seat or evacuate the driver or try to stop it some way throughout all of this, I'd let it slow down.
Yeah, for sure.
As for Spoof, he's controlling the drone. He doesn't attack the crew until they're a single space away. He may even tell the drivers to slow down to do that. And then he'll use the Graph 3 to attack the crew's vehicle.
Yeah.
Now, the other bozos don't care if Spoof dies, so killing the leader is not going to stop this fight.
End the fight, yeah.
And a firefight
Not
like
how
this...
bozos function.
Yeah, exactly. Now, any firefight like this could risk damage to the drone. Whenever a player, and I love this, whenever a player rolls a natural 1, they miss and hit the graph 3 instead. Doing
Because it's a giant drone.
full damage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a solo's fumble recovery does count. It can prevent this. A netrunner can try to get Spoof out of the drone if they want.
Wrestle control, yeah.
Yeah, once the bozos are dealt with, the crew can return to Woodland Park and Jack, or if needed, call for a pickup if somehow their vehicle got destroyed. If the crew failed to recover the Graph 3, or it's heavily damaged, which means it has less than 30 HP, Jack isn't happy. Doesn't
You're not
blame
gonna
the
get your
crew,
bonus.
but his normally bright mood is anything but. He'll pay the 500, but nothing more, and then he finishes the tour of the building, and he's pretty much grumpy the entire fucking time. If the crew recovered the Graph 3, it's not heavily damaged. Jack is over the moon. He gives every member 1,500 at the end of the tour, and he's like super bright about the tour the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Once it's over, the crew should call Marianne, tell her about the building. She mentions that she's going to have someone give place once over before making an offer, and then she sends her 500 as payment. So if they do this job, well, just this job alone can net them $2,000. Not to mention the money that they get from the Death Maze house, the haunted house, and the garage.
Mm-hmm.
So a good chunk of change to be made in this mission.
Oh, for sure.
So the mission's over. How much downtime you give depends on how close they are to the end of the month. As Marianne will call before the end of the current month with a new job. So if you're at the beginning of the month, I would say this is a perfect time to feather in some stories, do some side hustles. If your tech wants to build things, let them build things, give them that downtime.
Your media has a big investigation to do.
Maybe let them try to look for fucking evidence. That'd be great. They need 5 individual pieces. And that will conclude Real Estate Rumble.
Yeah, I wanted to say at the end of it, there's some really good ads and things that I really enjoy. But yeah, I like Real Estate Rumble. It's fun, and I like that a lot of the jobs don't seem like your standard Cyberpunk style jobs, like between Death Maze and the like Save the Graph 3 and stuff like that. They don't feel like the normal jobs, and so I enjoy that. This seems so much lower stake after what happened to the Forlorn Hope. So
Yeah, it doesn't directly affect you.
yeah.
I agree. I like Haunted House, the Death Maze, because for me it felt like crawling through a dungeon. Right, there are traps, there are things you have to avoid, there are secret passages you have to find.
It's very self-contained.
It is, yeah. It's nicely contained into one building, and I really like that. And that's how you can kind of take a structure and make it, and make an entire mission in there.
Right.
That's also creepy because you have AI clown voice speaking rhymes as traps being set off.
Creepy rhymes.
Yeah, and also adding an additional obstacle to a chase, I think, was really cool. So not only do you have to try to catch up to these clowns and stop them, also don't hurt this big giant fucking thing that is likely going to get hit.
Taking up a lot of room. What do you think their plan was for the Graph 3? If you were speculating. I would say they had a ultimate plan for it. I don't know what it is, but...
Probably to ruin one of Jack's properties.
Oh yeah, just... Like, because I was talking last week about the way that giraffes fight by, like, unhinging their necks. they're probably going to slam the head of it into one of his buildings or something.
I'm not entirely sure how Graph 3, like, what is the point, because I feel like it's like a crane, but definitely, like, the neck lowers to crane and it just smashes into his
Right.
building, or the interior of it has been, like, Trojan draft, and there's also going to be an explosion, but it was going to be used to attack another one of Jack's buildings, 100%. Maybe even place it outside his office, or ruin one of
Right.
his signs. I don't know, but something. Something.
It's the next part of the prank.
So yeah, I really like these missions. I think, again, you can take aspects of them and move them into anywhere in your campaign.
For sure.
So yeah, thank you guys for sticking through this with us. So we'll return next week to continue into looking into these missions. The next two are Welcome to the Neighborhood, which may be my favorite section in Hope Reborn. Written by Linda Evans, but I think it's personally my favorite section of this whole campaign book is the Welcome to the Neighborhood section.
Yeah.
And then
It's fun.
we'll get into the Devil's Cut, which is, I guess for some teasers, Welcome to the Neighborhood is a bunch of mini, like, side quest, mini, like, gig missions to get to know an area that I think you could easily port into wherever your current Edrunner community
As needed.
lives.
Yeah.
And there's some real fun stories in there. Linda does a great job. And then Devil's Cut is heist. It's pure heist. And we don't get to see a lot of that. Like, combat is, you cannot, like, combat's bad. Combat is so bad, it needs to be heist. And that's a lot of fun. So I'm very excited to talk about those two. If you have any questions for us, please let us know on Blue Sky, or commenting on this video on YouTube, sending a DM on Patreon, joining the Stage for Seth Discord. You can send a message in the Night City Sofa channel in there. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have things you want us to discuss, let us know and we will discuss them next week.
We're around. We'll talk about stuff.
We'll find it.
I'm always happy to talk about anything. So just ask.
And with that, unless there was anything else,
I think no.
we're good? Okay.
Yeah.
Then until next week. Yeah, for now.